E.ON is building a cogeneration plant to power a production site in Belgium. A San Diego Walmart begins testing a refrigeration battery system. And the chief editor of Power Grid International, Electric Light and Power, and Utility Products magazines joins me in the studio to discuss EV infrastructure. It's Tuesday, November 22nd, and this is Power Today. Hello and welcome to Power Today for Tuesday, November 22nd. I'm Cassie Haley. We begin today's edition of Power Today in Belgium, where E.ON is building a cogeneration plant to power ProMat Insulation Company's production site near Antwerp. E.ON will build, own, and operate the high-efficiency plant, consisting of a gas turbine with an electrical capacity of 4 megawatts and a heat recovery steam generator. The electricity and steam provided will facilitate the processes of the Belgian Fire Protection and high-performance insulation solutions provider. The plant's electricity output corresponds to the average electricity use of a small town with 4,500 family homes. Considering the total efficiency of the installation, about 2,000 tons of CO2 emissions per year will be avoided compared to the separate production of electricity and heat based on natural gas. This new project is the second largest cogeneration plant to be built by E.ON in Belgium since the beginning of 2016. Bernd Schumacher, CEO of E.ON Connecting Energy, said, "We consider Belgium as a market that bears significant potential for such decentralized energy solutions. Consequently, we have already expanded our team in Belgium and plan to further strengthen our offering in this market." In other power news, a San Diego Walmart store will begin testing a refrigeration battery system that uses the store's existing refrigeration to store cooling at night by freezing tanks of salt water. Walmart selected Axiom Energy to install the energy storage system. According to Axiom, the refrigeration battery discharges like a battery, providing cooling services for 7 hours and reducing the store's peak electricity demand by up to 40%. KW Engineering will provide third-party measurement and verification for the field demonstration project. Mark Vanderhelm, Vice President Energy at Walmart, said in a statement, "Walmart is actively evaluating different energy storage technologies that have the potential to reduce our operating costs and improve stores' resilience during power outages and extreme weather events across our portfolio." The field demonstration with Walmart is funded by utility members of California's Emerging Technologies Coordinating Council. You can find more on this story and other renewable energy news and information from around the globe at renewableenergyworld.com. We're going to take a short break. When Power Today returns, the chief editor of Power Grid International, Electric Light and Power, and Utility Products magazines joins me in the studio. Please stick around. Inside the Industry is up next. From December 13th through 15th, thousands will be in Orlando for the largest power industry show in the world, PowerGen International 2016. Hello, I'm Cassie Haley, host of the daily power news and information show, Power Today, and I'm here to tell you about a great way to get your message to the PowerGen audience. At this year's show, I'll be conducting content interviews with a select group of companies and thought leaders who recognize the importance of video in marketing their message. These one-on-one interviews will be featured on Power Today and will then be made available to use in any way you'd like. Power Today airs daily across a broad variety of Penwell sites, including Power Engineering, and has become a known and respected brand within the world of power. We take pride in keeping the power industry informed and telling our viewers about the exciting stories, people, and companies that are moving the industry forward. This is your opportunity to reach the ideal audience and to make sure your message is heard. I've been speaking with Bill Newsom today about Mitsubishi's J-Series gas turbine, the M501J. There is limited time available to schedule your PowerGen interview, so please don't put off locking in what could be your best marketing investment of the year. I'm Cassie Haley. I look forward to speaking with you at PowerGen International. Welcome back. Teresa Hansen is a recognized authority in the world of power transmission and distribution. She joined me recently to discuss the quickly changing landscape of EV infrastructure. Here's today's Inside the Industry. Welcome to Inside the Industry. Let's welcome Teresa Hansen.
Hi, Cassie.
Hi, Teresa. You joined us last week and we talked about the electrification of transportation and how the infrastructure is changing, and you promised to come back and talk to us a little bit more about certain infrastructure initiatives.
Sure. I did a little bit of research since last week, and I found that a lot of state utility commissions, as well as utilities and other regulators, are really looking into how to build out the infrastructure. There's a couple of challenges that they're facing. One is there's really no history to know how consumers are going to react and what their charging habits will be. The other one is most experts expect that in certain areas there will be pockets of people who really adopt EVs, and then there will be other areas of a city where there won't be much adoption. So they're kind of worried about those clusters of EVs and how that's going to affect the distribution system. But there is a lot of interest in it, and there are a lot of initiatives going on out there.
Okay, what states are leading the way?
As usual, California is a big one. Really the West Coast states, Oregon and Washington, even Nevada, they have some things going. New York is also involved in a lot of initiatives. And then some of the states in the middle of the country that you might not expect, like Kansas and Kentucky, Illinois and Indiana. So
really,
they're also involved, yes.
So you mentioned California, of course, is leading the way. What kind of things are they working on?
Well, California has a state initiative, and the three investor-owned utilities, Pacific Gas and Electric, San Diego Gas and Electric, and Southern California Edison, as usual, are participating. Each one has a little bit of a different program that they've has either been approved or that they've at least asked for approval on. The first one, Southern California Edison, they got approval last January for their program, and it's the smallest of the three. It is a $22 million program called Charge Ready, and they're proposing to implement 1,500 charging stations. Now, in their program, the customers will own and install the charging stations, and Southern California Edison will simply own and implement the infrastructure to support those charging stations, but they will actually also offer some financing to their customers.
Okay, and that's the smallest initiative.
That's the smallest.
Okay.
The next one is San Diego Gas and Electric, and they have proposed what they call the Vehicle Grid Integration Program, and it's a $45 million program, and they're proposing to install 3,500 charging stations at about 350 locations throughout the Southern California or San Diego area. Unlike Southern California Edison, San Diego Gas and Electric, they will own the charging stations, and they will actually determine where they're going to be installed. So that's a little bit different than Southern California.
Customers.
Right.
Okay.
And then the last one is Pacific Gas and Electric, and theirs is by far the largest, but theirs has not been approved yet by the Public Utility Commission. There's some controversy involved in it. But they're proposing 7,600 charging stations throughout the San Francisco, Northern California area, which would make it the largest by far of any in the country. But they're also asking that their customers pay $160 million of the cost.
Well, that seems like a big cost to be passing on to the customers. What would that cover?
Well, really, it would cover the infrastructure or the support for the infrastructure. So really, it would cover the expenses for Pacific Gas and Electric, and not really the customers' cost for their charging stations. So again, that one is a little bit controversial, has not yet been passed. They keep kind of going back and forth on that one, so we'll see what happens. But certainly on all three of these initiatives, they're all a little bit different, but I think that utilities and cities and state legislatures, and in fact, federal, like the Department of Transportation, the Department of Energy, will all be looking to see what the outcomes of these are, to kind of see what are the best practices and what they can piece together from these three different initiatives.
And I'm sure other states will follow.
Yes, they will. There's a couple of states kind of in the middle of the country, Kansas and Indiana, that you wouldn't think of as being the leaders in EVs, but they have a couple of interesting projects going on as well. Kansas City Power and Light has implemented a project, and they have already installed 1,000 charging stations throughout the greater Kansas City area, which makes it the largest EV charging installation in the country. So you really wouldn't think of Kansas as being the leading edge there, but they are.
But if you have West Coast and East Coast, you got to have someone in the center
That's
to start
right.
connecting us.
So it's Kansas. And what they found since they installed these, they started their installation in January of 2015, so almost 2 years ago. And what they found is they've had a 400% increase in the number of electric vehicles that's being driven in the area, as well as a 400% increase in the amount of electricity that they're selling through these EV chargers. So, for Kansas City Power and Light, that's a great thing because they're selling more electricity, and it is helping the adoption of electric vehicles.
You also mentioned Indiana. Can you tell me a project there?
Yes, in Indianapolis, they actually have what they're calling the first EV car share program. And it's actually being implemented by a company from Paris, France, but the utility and the city are also involved. And what they have done so far is it's called a ride-share program. They have installed 100 charging stations, and they have 100 electric vehicles throughout the city that people can rent, pay different amounts to use them either for a few hours or for a week or whatever they want to do. And what they're proposing is 200 charging stations and 500 EVs by the end of their program. So
that's great.
That's another really interesting initiative in the middle of the country.
Sure. Great for consumers to be able to try it out. And
right.
Always a joy to speak with you, Teresa.
Well, thank you very much.
Can't wait to see what you come back with next week. Thanks for joining us on Inside the Industry. Join us tomorrow when we'll be talking renewables with Jennifer Runyon. That's going to wrap things up for us on Power Today. You can link to the show directly at powertoday.tv, and you can follow me at @CassieHaley on Twitter. For everyone at Power Today, have a great day. We'll see you back here tomorrow at noon, 11 Central.